Hello, Sue.
Hello, Karin.
Nice that you're ready for this interview.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself, how old you are, where you're living? What's some personal information about you?
Okay, I'm 59. I live in the UK. I live in Oxford, and I've been doing playback. Is this what you want me to? No.
Also,
Okay.
it can be playback, it can be about your profession, whatever you feel like
Okay.
it's relevant.
I'm an integrative art psychotherapist, which means that I use all of the art forms in my work, which includes some enactment and movement as well as all the visual art forms. I have 2 children, grown up, a 30-year-old and a 26-year-old, 2 girls. I've lived in Oxford for many years and love it. Yeah, that'll do.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm interested to know what at this present moment of your life, what do you like, what do you love about your life right now in this time of being 59?
Okay, I'm just getting back in contact because I've been out of contact with my creativity, which is in my case is connected to health, because when I feel well then I feel more creative, and so I'm just beginning to get back to writing and to dancing and some playback.
Do you want to tell about your health? What's the issue?
Yes, I'd been diagnosed with ME for about 15 years.
MA is multiple sclerosis?
No, multiple sclerosis was the later one. And now it's just gone from my mind. It's chronic fatigue. I can't remember what the symbols are now, but chronic fatigue, basically. And then I started having strange neurological things in the last 6 years. And I kept asking if it could be MS, and I was told no, it couldn't possibly be. Excuse me. And then I had what seemed like a stroke. So I lost the use of this side of my body. And the use of my legs started to come back quite quickly, but I was very unstable. I'd lost my sense of balance. I lost the use of my left arm completely. It hung for about 10 months, unable to really use it. And for 2 years I really was pretty ill, really, because my body wasn't working. So I slowly rebuilt it by, walking dogs first 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes. And now I'm back to an hour every morning, and I can't manage proper, I can't manage what I used to do, but I'm slowly getting back there.
And to your creativity.
And hopefully to my creativity.
Yeah, that's
that
what we
really
started off.
knocked.
That's
Yes,
How do you feel like creativity is healing, or?
Very much so. I think that especially with illness, it's very easy to get so frightened that you concentrate on that and let the very thing that can heal you go out of the window, which is creativity, which I believe is very healing.
So what do? You paint, or?
No, I don't paint. I write, and I quite like writing poetry. I read, and I've always been very active. I'm slowly getting back to yoga, and I do improvisational dance.
Nice.
And I'm just beginning to get back to some of that, just a little bit.
So usually my next question is, what do you find challenging in your life?
Well, I'd say that's been my biggest challenge over the last few years. And I've also got challenges which I'm sure is related to, I have some family issues with both my parents have died, and my birth family has become very divided. in a rather unpleasant way, and I'm sure that's contributed to my stress levels.
Yeah.
And there are things also in my relationship with my husband that have contributed as well.
Are you still together with your husband?
Yes,
So
we
for
are.
how many years are you?
We met when we were 17,
Ah.
so we've actually been together 40 years, but we've been married 36, I think.
Yeah. That's still going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the situation for women in your country? How would you answer to that?
I think attitudes are changing, but very, very slowly. I think that there is more recognition of women's issues around pay. It's in the press a lot, the disparity, and there was a big furore recently, which was very good, and that was because the BBC is a government organisation. They had to publish the salaries. And so suddenly they found that, and it caused a big uproar in the country.
Because the salaries were
Of course,
were
not equal. So, a news presentator who was a woman was earning sort of like 30% less than the man. So it really threw up because it was so obvious. This was
in a state organisation.
And I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the 30%. That might be wrong, but there were big disparities, big enough for the whole country to say this is outrageous. What's going on? So that was good. That additional transparency, and there's often talk about the discrepancy in the balance of men and women in various parties, political parties and parliament, and of course the boardroom is the most obvious.
The what?
Big business.
Yeah, that women are not present in.
Yeah, but I mean the main thing really is what our children's attitude is, I think, because that's where the change is hopefully going to happen. And how is that changing? I'm not sure that's also changing very slowly. But I think that there's much more awareness with my children's generation about all issues, of which women's issues are part of it. Well, I say that on one hand, and on the other hand, I think with the youth, because that's where I think it lies, we're also fighting the battle against the internet, which is like a sort of terrorist organisation that can sort of do as it pleases, really, in my view. So there was a very good programme on sex aimed at the youth, and the most shocking one that I saw was they had a group of girls and boys, roughly I think about sort of 16, 17, and they asked how many of the boys would sleep with somebody who had hair, who hadn't shaved. And only one little boy put his hand up in a whole class, and you thought, this is, I mean, that's just that's an example of
the pressure and backward draw against women.
Yes. So on the one hand, there's a liberalisation of attitudes towards sex and things, but there's also a dehumanising of it through the internet and the expectations of girls, especially, and boys.
It's both ways.
It's both ways, really.
So my last question would be, what is your advice or your tip for women? What would you tell women?
My tip for women: educate your children. Educate your boys is my main tip, because I think we unconsciously perpetuate without thinking about it I don't have boys, so I can't preach, but I think there must be something where it's perpetuated, and if at least whilst they're with us and influenced by us, then that has some effect. And having said that, I must say that the boys who I know who are friends with my children are just lovely, you know. They're really it shows that it does work, but I think there's a lot of unconscious messages that we as women give to our children.
Thank you very much, Sue, for this interview, and all the best.
Thank you, Karin. Good luck with the project.